Hi, welcome to our series looking at big Bible truths. The last few questions we have looked at have been based on the 10 Commandments, which are, I'm going to do it super fast, see if you can keep up. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Honour your father and mother. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony. And you shall not covet. Do you think that anyone can keep these laws? So question 13 is looking at that today. Can anyone keep the laws of God perfectly? Can anybody keep those 10 commandments well? Do you know anybody that can? Any of your friends or family? Can they keep those commandments all the time? Every single one of them? I can't think of anyone. Can anyone keep the law of God perfectly? And our answer is, since the fall, no human has been able to keep the law of God perfectly. The fall was when Adam and Eve went against a command that God had given them. This is called sin, and we're going to look at that in a couple of videos' time. But this was when sin first came into the world. And since then, nobody has ever been able to fully keep all the laws, to keep those commandments. I know sometimes that I am not very good at honouring my father and mother. I don't know about you. Or sometimes you might see your friends get a new scooter and you'd quite like one too. All of us find it really hard to keep the 10 Commandments. And we are all sinful, and we all need God's help and grace. In the Bible, in a book called Romans, it says, "None is righteous, no, not one. No one understands. No one seeks for God. All have turned aside. Together they have become worthless. No one does good, not even one." Not even one. Apart from one person. Who do you think it might be? In the whole of history, in the whole history of the world, there has been one person, only one, that has kept all of God's law and his commandments. Do you think you know who it might be? The one man who could keep God's law all the time, every single one, was Jesus. The law of God has been kept perfect by Jesus. No other human has, is, or will be able to keep God's law, but he can. Jesus can and did. Can anyone keep the law of God perfectly? Since the fall, no human has been able to keep the law of God perfectly. But we know that Jesus was fully human and that he would have been tempted. But we also know that he is fully God, and he was able to live that perfect life without sin. Jesus can provide salvation because he lived the perfect life. Can anyone keep the law of God perfectly? Since the fall of man, no human has been able to keep the law of God perfectly. See you next week for question 14.